Welcome to The Fiber, brought to you by LiveOak Fiber, where we weave together the stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and changemakers who are the very fabric of their communities. Join us as we spotlight those who embody the spirit of connection, resilience, and progress. Hey everyone, my name is Garret O'Leary. I am the host here at The Fiber, and today I am joined by one and only Steve Smith, as well as the Savannah Area Chamber, Bert Brantley. Bert, thank you for joining us. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, thanks Garret. Thanks Steve. My name is Bert Brantley, President and CEO here at the Savannah Area Chamber. We moved down here about 2 years ago in February of 2023 after 25 years or so up in Atlanta, mostly working in around state government and politics up there. And you know what drew us to Savannah is what everybody is reading about and seeing in this region right now. We are in an incredible growth era. We have a lot of new investment that's coming to Savannah, not only in terms of manufacturing with the new Hyundai plant that's open, with Gulfstream, with JCB, all those great advanced manufacturers that are here. We got a lot of military investment that's going into our bases as well. Of course, our ports continue to grow, continue to be the fastest growing port on the East Coast here in the country. And then our tourism industry just continues to just really thrive as well. A lot of new investment in new hotels, higher end hotels where we're drawing a higher end visitor as well. So you put all that together, and then all the small businesses and all the service providers that are benefiting from this increased economic activity, and then you put all that together with this quality of life that we've got down here, right? We're down on the coast, great outdoors, great culture here, great museums and bookstores and arts and all those things that get put together into a great quality of life. You know, it was just the song that was calling us from the coast was too strong to ignore, and we're just thrilled to be down here. We love the work, but we also love the quality of life, and really have just jumped right into this community and really feel at home. And we see a lot of other people doing that as well, moving from around the state, but also from around the southeast and even from the Midwest and Northeast as well. It's a real exciting time to be here in the Savannah region.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you mentioned a lot of sectors. Look, we love Savannah. What sectors are you seeing the most growth in? And then I did want to ask you, about the port, because after the incident that kind of happened up in Baltimore, I was going to see how that kind of changed things for you guys. Get your perspective on that.
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, I think we can't ignore the growth in advanced manufacturing, right? I mean, the Hyundai plant will be the largest electric vehicle plant in the country when it's fully built out. They're already producing EVs over there. They've got the ability to switch, by the way, to hybrids very easily as well. And so it's not just an EV plant. Depending on what the market is dictating, they can easily shift to the hybrid side or stay all electric or some combination of the two. And so all those suppliers, all that economic activity that's been driven by the sort of clean tech, clean energy boom that's come to the southeast, we benefited from that. And so you really have to start there. $8 billion of investment just in the Hyundai mega site, and then all the suppliers, upwards north of $12 billion, right? So thousands and thousands of jobs that are being created as well. And then you mentioned the ports, and certainly we can't go too far. Anybody that visits Savannah, this river that runs right through our downtown, you see these incredible container ships that come and call this. Yeah, it's amazing. It never gets old, by the way. No matter how many you see, the next one that comes is the most exciting thing you've ever seen. It's really just incredible, amazing. So they have got investment plans, billions of dollars, to actually jump across the river, do a new terminal. They're expanding their terminals on this side of the river now, but they're going to expand across the river as well, continue to grow over there. So you just have this wave of investment that's coming into this region, and again, we could talk about all the hotels that have been built here. We could talk about our military construction that's going on at Hunter and Fort Stewart as well. Just really, the really secret sauce, if you want to call it that, for Savannah right now is that we've got all these sectors that are kicking into high gear. We're not totally reliant on one, and we saw during the pandemic that if you are reliant on one sector, like tourism, for example, the rug can be pulled out from under you, right? And that's a healthy economy is really a balanced one, and that's what we're really seeing here, and just couldn't be more excited about.
No, I think that's awesome. I would say, I've checked into hotels there, and I think it was last year, they said one of the world's largest container ships. They'll tell you when the container ships are coming by, but it was like the world's largest one. And it was a premium, an extra charge to see it. It was completely worth it. I was like, that is one massive boat. You could say it's big, but it's like watching a skyscraper go down the street by the side. It's incredible.
They're really good at the premium extra charges over there too, right?
So. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you get down the river.
The first time that I was in Savannah, I actually got some really great photos of them going down the river, right with the bridge in the background.
Oh yeah.
I need to frame one of them. I'll have to show it to you sometime, but I got some really good photos of it.
Another thing they do really well with that, it's not on purpose, obviously, it's just a function of the business, but all the containers are different colors based on what shipping company is shipping those through, and so you get this great sort of just differentiation of colors coming through on top of the ship as well. And towards the taller the ship, the more interesting that looks like. And so you get these great pictures, Garrett, just like you're talking about, that are really interesting and colorful. It's not just sort of a bland, Steve, you talk about the skyscraper. Skyscraper with a bunch of different colors, right? And so it really makes it interesting and striking to see coming down our river this close to our convention center and then our downtown on this side of the river.
Absolutely. What is because the port down in Brunswick is mostly known for automobile.
That's right.
What is the port in Savannah kind of known for?
It's containers. Yeah. So we used to have, they call it row, which is roll on, roll off. We used to have some of that business here at Ocean Terminal, but they are converting Ocean Terminal to a total container as well. So we had the Garden City Terminal and then the Ocean Terminal. All that's going to be containerized traffic, and so all that row business. This actually ties right into the question you asked earlier. Baltimore, very busy row port, and so when the unfortunate incident up there happened, for those shippers that could move their business, we did see a significant increase down in Brunswick, and they're setting records down there. Of course, they got the port back open, and so I think long term all that will even out. But in the short term, we absolutely saw some increase, mostly in vehicles. Baltimore was really the kind of number one vehicle port around, and Brunswick's quickly catching up. And that really is a function of space to store, vehicles. How much space do you have? So we're continually investing in that. That's about an hour south of us. We're actually, LiveOak is very active down in Brunswick as well. You guys you're hitting the port cycle with Savannah and Brunswick. The investments you guys are making, and not just investment into service, but investment into the community. And I think that's what we've talked about a lot with your team is the way you guys have come into town and really shown that you're going to be a great community partner. It's one thing to be a great service provider, and you guys are doing that as well. But this community aspect that is clearly a key part of your company, from a chamber side, is so great to see. It's very easy to be friends with you guys because you guys have really come into our market in the right way. I know you're doing that in Brunswick as well.
Well, no, I appreciate that. I think that's honestly that's the key of one of the key components of broadband is it does have an economic development impact. It's new jobs. It's new jobs that people would have never had. And to start it in a rural area is so much fun because you get to attract people that are not from there to come down and experience the area. I'd never experienced it until this product, and then you get the great local people that maybe they have one job at a local company and you transfer them over and now they're doing something in high tech and telecom, and it's exciting to see them grow. So that's a fun part. That's really meaningful. Garret is one of the original. I think you were one of the first 15 employees to go over 15. I forget which now. We tattooed his arm.
Somewhere in between 15 and 18, I think.
Somewhere. I think he's 17. But yeah, we had a meeting back in the fall of 22. We had 17 people, and we have over 170 now today, which is great. And we're excited to get more people there in Savannah.
Well, the Savannah Chamber's been around for 218 years, so I cannot claim to be one of the original employees over here. The Chamber actually started out as kind of a port authority. As shippers would ship product into Savannah, the Chamber was sort of the matchmaker between the buyers and the shippers, and we were sort of the good housekeeping stamp for approval, right? We would verify that the shipper was legit and the buyer was legit, and that was sort of the first role for the Chamber. Of course, we now have a ports authority and a whole operation over there that that does that. But yeah, we're the sixth oldest chamber in the country. And anytime you do anything in Savannah, you'll see the something oldest, right? I mean, that's a sort of one of the hallmarks of a city that's been around for almost 300 years. But we've got about 2,400 members at the Savannah Area Chamber. It's just we're growing like crazy, trying to make sure we meet the needs of all those different members and all the different sectors they're in, and just try to create a really good business environment where people can be successful here.
You have one quick question. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, you go ahead, G.
You talked about community and especially our involvement in the communities. For you guys, how involved is like your everyday regular resident or just Savannah resident in providing that feedback, or at least your goals for planning short-term goals, as well as working with local businesses to kind of drive your progress?
It is part of the ethos here. I think because we've been a city, for now almost 300 years. When James Oglethorpe came to Savannah, and we sort of had this original slogan of not for self but for others, and so the city's really built on that ethos, right? That belief that we're here not just for self, but we're here to help others. And so you can't go anywhere in Savannah without running into a nonprofit that is doing really terrific work. Actually, the hard thing is picking the nonprofits to get involved with, and we certainly highly encourage our team to get out and find those things they're interested in and really get involved, engage, and serve on boards and serve on committees and all those things with other nonprofits around the city. And look, the needs are great. We have a city that there's a significant wealth gap. There's a lot of wealth here and a lot of people that have built up really strong businesses and been really successful. But we've also got some parts of the community that have been left behind. And so we got a lot of work to do to address generational poverty. We've got some homelessness issues here that we're all constantly working on. And really just opening up that American dream that so many folks here have felt and lived. How do we open that up to more? How do we get that opportunity to everybody? And of course, it starts in the schools and making sure our schools are great. We just passed yesterday an eSPLOST vote that's going to invest about $700 million into our school system over the next 5 years, so that our facilities are worthy of learning. They're worthy of they're not holding our students back. We want facilities where teachers can go in and feel safe and teach with the very best technology, and then our students can feel like it's a great learning environment as well. So we've got a lot of this real push here, and that's why I again give you guys a ton of credit for recognizing that and coming in and just coming right alongside. It didn't even look like you guys didn't have to be talked into it, right? We're all running in that direction. You just came right beside us and are running just as fast as we are, even though we've been around for 218 years. And so it's just so important. It's part of the it just is part of the way we do things here, and it's frankly expected from the chamber and from our members that we're gonna be involved, and we're gonna give back and figure out how to make this place as great as possible as we can.
I think
you've done a great job.
Yeah, you've done a great job, and I think that's what makes some of the rural communities a little different. Is you can't really sit on the sidelines and watch. You have to participate in a real and intentional, meaningful way. And if you don't, people don't, because you're going to run into the people at the grocery store. They're going to play Little League baseball with you. You're going to see them at the PTA meetings, and they're going to tell you if you're not participating. One thing I was going to ask you, Bert, you've had a really interesting career. You've done a lot of public service work, economic development. You've been in big government. You've been in government with the state there. What are some leadership lessons learned over your career that you'd like to point out? Because you've got a very interesting resume, which is super powerful for that chamber. It's cool.
Yeah, it's been hard keeping a job. I've had a lot of different jobs over the years. So, look, the number one, lesson is probably incredibly obvious and may not be super helpful to folks that are tuning in. But I've just had the great fortune to work for great leaders, and so I would just tell you the number one lesson that I've always lived by is learn from those that you're around, and whether it's been people I've worked for or worked with, or maybe even have in the organizational structure worked for me or for our agency. There's all these great people, and they're doing great stuff. And if you just stop and pay attention, you can really pick up what drives people, what they're doing, what their why is, why they're doing the things that they're doing. And so all the different jobs that I've had over the years, and there has been a lot. But really, I've tried to just when I get there, I do the very best I can at the things that I'm tasked with, but then also look around me and see what are other folks doing, and what can I take from them? What can I learn from them? And I feel like life is a continual learning journey, when I drive in the car, I don't listen to music, I listen to podcasts, and I do that because I'm always trying to learn about different things and be knowledgeable, so that when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I can. My wife, the worst 4 words in the English language is, I was listening to a podcast. Where I come with some story about something that I listen to. So, but that's just sort of my goal over the years, is just continually learn, try to get a little bit better each day. If I can steal something from somebody and take from what they're doing, I absolutely try to do that and work that into what we're doing, either at the job or even at home, or with my family. And so, if you're lucky enough to be around great folks that are doing great work, my advice is just to pay attention, because you'll pick up great habits and make yourself better by watching those that are coming before you.
That's incredibly true. Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of that, what are you guys doing this year? What's on the priority list for the Chamber, Greater Savannah Chamber of Commerce? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, a couple big ones this year, right? So the legislature is meeting right now. The legislative session is going on in Georgia, and it'll end in early April. And we've got a couple of really big issues that our members are really, really concerned about. And leading that is tort reform or litigation reform. There's a lot of different sort of words for it. And I won't belabor the point of this. A lot of ink has been spilled and words have been said on this, but our members have just faced a legal environment right now that is very uncertain, and you're one lawsuit away from losing everything that you've built up because of some of these just outrageous verdicts that have been that we've seen in Georgia. I mean, it's just some nuclear level verdicts that have gone against companies and businesses. And so, what we've asked the legislature to do is to just bring some common sense back, bring some balance. Not have the deck stacked against a business when they get into litigation. Let's have a fair playing field. Let's trust the jury for them to be able to listen to all the facts and be able to make a great decision. And the justice system will work if we don't stack the deck, right? And so we feel very good about where we're at. The House is finishing the work on the bill, and then the Senate will get a chance to weigh in. But we think before the legislative session ends, we'll bring some sanity back into the courtroom, and that would be a tremendous help. Obviously, insurance costs are rising like crazy, and everybody sees that. And there's a lot of drivers of that. Nobody at all is saying that it's the only driver, but certainly the risk that's involved that businesses have these days with excessive verdicts, that plays into those insurance costs. So I'd say that's the number one thing that we're watching this year. The other thing, and LiveOak participated in this, we're so thankful that you guys did. In March, we took our first city-to-city visit. We went over to Charleston, spent a day with their leaders over there, learning from them, talking about issues that we share. And so in September, we will be taking the first sort of overnight. That was a day trip to Charleston. We all boarded the Amtrak train and went over and spent the day over there. But in September, we're going to go to Nashville and really dig in on some of their issues and challenges up there that we share. Even though they're a bigger city, we share a lot of the tourism issues they have. They get a lot of tourism and a lot of impacts from that. And so we want to learn from that. They've got transportation challenges, workforce, childcare, healthcare, all the things that we're facing here. They're a bigger city, but they're facing those same issues. So we're going to take a group of somewhere between 70 and 100 business leaders from here and go up and spend a couple of nights and really dig in on national. By the way, we host a lot of those kind of visits to Savannah each year. Yeah. And so I'm constantly going and welcoming chamber groups into Savannah where they're learning from us. So we should absolutely go and do that in return, right? So that's a huge priority for us this year, a new program, and we're planning for that September trip. We're, again, so thankful that LiveOak was able to join us on that Charleston trip, and that, again, just shows what great partners you guys are, and that you guys have really jumped in on that.
Absolutely. We're happy to do it, and I think Randy Weinberger went. He loves the train. anyway, so it wasn't that hard of a sale. The man loves
He was the most experienced train rider on the entire trip. I can promise you.
Man loves
Most
the train, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most everybody had not ridden a train at all.
Right.
A couple folks like me had ridden in Europe and in Asia, and there may be a couple folks that had, for whatever reason, had been on the Amtrak before. But no, he was by far the most experienced train passenger.
Loves it. Yeah, absolutely loves it. So I was going to ask you mentioned Savannah. It's a 300-year-old city, and I love going there. But it's also known to be a haunted city, one of the more haunted cities in America. And I have to ask, have you had any paranormal shenanigans? Anything crazy happen to you since you've lived there?
Yeah, I've done a number of our ghost tours because I want to experience it. I want to see what that business is like. I may approach it from a little different angle of most of our visitors. I go on those things to see what the business model is, right? How are they doing? How are they are they being successful? Are there regulations that they're facing that are in the way? Those kind of things we can help them deal with the city. And so when you go on those tours, you actually hear kind of a wide variety. You get sort of the dramatic ghost stories that are told about these big encounters that people have, but then you have folks that talk about I lost my keys the other day. I might think it's because I'm absent-minded. Now I've got in my mind, I'm thinking, is there some ghost that's
get some hitchhiking ghosts
moving my keys around, moving my keys, and the keys version. So, our building that we're in is an old bank building. We have a big vault in the back, and it's a neat place. And so, whenever I misplace something, I now blame it on the ghost instead of my just 50-year-old mind,
I think it's good, Bert. I
haven't had a dramatic encounter yet, but I certainly have things that are, I say, more easily explained by paranormal activity than just me being absent-minded.
And it might have something to do with, drinking. They might be, most of the sightings might be after a certain time of night.
Well, we do get a lot of that too. I mean, no question. Whatever you want to blame it on,
Probably a lot of ghost sightings after St. Patrick's Day. Is that usually how that works too?
That's what I was going to ask. So I experienced a little bit of your St. Patrick's Day last year, but we should settle it once and for all. Who has the best St. Patrick's Day celebration?
Well, let me say this. I've only been to Savannah, so I want to be careful that I'm obviously biased, view on this. However, yesterday, right here, our office is right on the parade route. And so we're here. All our employees come, all their families. It's really a great time. We don't have anything to do with the parade, by the way. The parade committee runs that. The chamber has no role, so we just get to enjoy it. We don't even do a float. We just enjoy it. We sit here and enjoy everybody else coming by. But we had a guy come yesterday by the chamber from Boston and said to us, "This is the best St. Patrick's Day parade in the country." And so I'm going to take his word for it. I'll share his view of it, but it is it's a family-friendly event. It's a long parade. I mean, you're out there for multiple hours. There's people from bands from all over the place. There's the Shriners come from all over. You've got usually a celebrity or two. We had Conor McGregor a couple years ago. Vice President Mike Pence was here a few years ago. We didn't yesterday, not to my knowledge. I didn't see any major celebrity, but we will sometimes have big time folks that will come by as well. And so it's a very special day, and with all the great things we have going on in Savannah, we love to brag about. That St. Patrick's Day parade is something to witness, and
the build-up is pretty cool. It's there's, for those that don't know, there's a lot of parks downtown. The parade goes through the older part of downtown, and people camp out, and it's kind of a music fest, right? It's like a micro music festival around the city, and people are. It's just one giant tailgate, right? With an Irish theme. Is that kind of?
I think that's probably the best way to describe it. It is absolutely a big tailgate for sure. There's you mentioned the squares and they have to. At 6 a.m. is when you can put your tents and chairs out, and so a horn blows at 6 o'clock, and everybody, to your point, is camped out and they're ready to run, and almost like a NASCAR pit crew, put their chairs and their tents up in the spots they want, and it's called the running of the squares, and that's a sight to behold. And families have these sort of designated spots that they've been in for generations, and it's just it is a really neat really neat day, and something really, really special, and encourage everybody to try to make it down at some point. We don't dye the river green. The river's too big and too deep, and would take too much green dye. But we paint the town green for sure.
It is. It's painted.
It's a special day.
Well, the other thing I love about Savannah, it's an incredible food scene. There's a couple of southern cities that I think are really jump out, but Savannah is on a national scale, like a food scene. So if someone's visiting Savannah, what do they have to have before they leave? Like, if you came to Denver, I would say you got to get the pork green chili. That's what I would tell you, or the hot toasted peppers. But if I'm in Savannah, what do I have to get where I haven't?
Yeah. The dish that we're becoming famous for, of course, our friends over in Charleston have kind of owned the shrimp and grits, market, so to say, and that's fine. They can have that. We have some great shrimp and grits here, but the crispy scored flounder is the dish that has kind of made its mark on Savannah. And we've got a couple of restaurants around town that that's their specialty, and the way they fix it is really incredible. They cut the score in it, and just
I had that last week for the first time at the Pink House, that restaurant, and we had a board event, and our chairman was like, "I've never had flounder like this." It was like you said, it was scored, and then it had like a mango jelly or something. It was outstanding. Like that is.
Yeah, it's that's I think that's the one. If somebody was going to visit, and it's the one dish I would recommend getting before you go.
I agree.
The great thing about the Savannah food scene is we have so many visitors that it's a very diverse food scene. It's not all shrimp and grits and crispy scored flounder. We've got a entrepreneur chef here that has about 10 or 11 restaurants now. They all have sort of an Asian theme or an Asian fusion theme, and so really shout out those Ellie and the Rhino Hospitality Group. Some great Asian themed restaurants here. Of course, you can get the Southern traditional cooking as well. It's really a diverse scene here, and because we have all these folks that are on business accounts, they can afford to eat out in a nice place. So for us, in a town of 150, 160,000, you don't find the restaurant scene like this in a town our size. So we're very, very lucky to have that, and it's a ton of fun to be able to go out to a nice restaurant and celebrate something great happening, or maybe even if you had some troubles, to make yourself feel better by a little food therapy as well.
No, I mean the food's outstanding. The one I was thinking of is I don't know how many he has. It's Trailer Park. It's TREYLOR. I know he's got a couple downtown. In fact, I think my wife and I went there one time. We had a layover in Savannah. And we went to eat at Trailer Park just because it was. I think it was on Diners. Something like that. It was. I mean, where can you go and get like gourmet peanut butter and jelly? I've never seen anything like it. So I was in.
You just happened to pick the restaurant that is right next to the chamber. That's our
That's
chamber cafeteria. I mean, right next door. I can throw a rock over there right now. And so they're very creative. To your point, very innovative. They do have 5 or 6. They just opened a place on Tybee Island which we have not talked about, by the way. We have a beach that is 20 minutes from downtown, really easy to get to. It's got this great vibe out there. There's no high rises. There's no sort of over, commercialization like you might see in some beach towns. It is a really neat, kind of funky vibe out there. A ton of fun.
It really is. We're
nice
excited. We're excited to build. We had a town hall last week. There it was phenomenal turnout. Man,
they are so excited that you guys are there.
Yeah.
We had a meeting out there about a month ago, and the city reported to this business group about you guys in the town hall coming up, and there was spontaneous applause for LiveOak and the fiber that's coming out of there. So they are so thrilled to have that service out there, and they really feel like there's been an underinvestment in that connectivity out there. And so I think there's been some answered prayers that you guys have fulfilled.
Well, we're thankful to get receptions like that. That's always good, especially on the front end. Tybee has been
Ivy's been an area we've looked at. Mark Metcalf. So we partner with a company called Coastal Communications that does our construction.
Yeah.
And Mark and I have been friends for a long time, and we've been talking about that island for like 3 years. How do we get on it? What's it going to be like? So to see it like come together, it was great. And we just want to be more like that. Yeah, it's people are
congratulations.
Happy. Thank you.
You hit a home run out there.
Yeah, that'll be good. I do have to ask, what do you part of our pitch is improving the quality of lives of the communities that we serve. That's our why. You mentioned why. That's our why when we get up in the morning. How do you see high-speed, reliable broadband impact kind of the business community there? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talk nationwide right now about uncertainty. And if you look at the NFIB, which is a group that we track very closely, they're sort of the voice for small business nationally. Their uncertainty index is at I think not an all-time high, but a second all-time high. And so there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now with what the economy is going to do and sort of where the economy's headed and what impacts that will have. And I think what you guys are providing is certainty, at least in the connectivity space, right? It's hard for a business to open. A lot of businesses, for them to open if they don't have connectivity. If the internet's down, if they can't run a transaction, that makes it very, very difficult. You remember the old credit card, the slide machine, right? I think everybody's throwing those away. So without connectivity, it's hard to collect money from folks these days. And so what you guys are providing is certainty in a what is right now an uncertain environment. And so reliability and certainty. Every business that I know, that they want to reduce the level of uncertainty. They want to reduce their risk.
That's right.
At every stage, whether it's insurance, whether it's their fleet, or whether it's internet and high speed and connectivity. So you guys, that's just it's a check box. It's something they don't have to worry about. Something they don't have to fret about. They can start worrying about the other stuff and not have this frustration. And so it's a huge benefit. To something that has been a challenge. It's difficult to build here. I know you guys are figuring that out with all the trees and all the public spaces and all the history. It's not an easy place to construct, and so it takes an expert and somebody that's committed to the market to come in like you guys have and deal with all those and not get frustrated and not get distracted and want to put investment in other markets. And so we're very thankful you guys are here. And meeting that need that's certainly been identified by a lot of our members.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I tell people all the time that it's an underground construction project, and probably not going to go as planned. Probably going to be a little messy, but also a temporary thing. That's the idea, anyway. We use buried conduit, so there's different versions. We don't build it above ground, and that's whatever hair I have left and whatever hair my ops team has left. There's a reason for that, because the network works better if it's buried. We know that. And then the conduit is another component. It's a little bit more to do, but as I tell people, we'll be in your yards, and then we'll be out of your yards. We will break some things, and that's the other part of the message too. Is we're very upfront about is if we have issues, we fix them. I've had people call us and say, listen, where you're planning on putting that flower pot, because all of our gear is like subgrade, my car will drive over it every day. Would you mind moving it, to the side of the house? Or we'll do that. We tell people, you call the main number and option 1, you go right to construction. So I just have to say that out loud, because you could hit us up on social media, but if you call, which they do. We do have the keyboard warriors that we interact with. But if you call us, we have a team that responds the same day, and we'll try to fix it. We will break some things. I don't know how much zoysia grass we bought over the last 12 months, but I'm sure we're a top 25 buyer of zoysia. So,
you're building underground at 0 feet sea level too, right? We're obviously on the coast. Different challenges than you might face, somewhere else. And so we acknowledge that. We know, and of course, you guys came into this eyes wide open and knowing what you're doing. But it's certainly a difficult environment to build in, and we know that. So that's why we're so appreciative when folks come in and put that investment there, because we know it's not the easiest place in the world, but we think the reward is here because of everything that's going on now and what the future looks like, and those that but those that take the risk are those that get rewarded. And really happy you guys are here.
Thank you, Bert.
Has there been a pretty positive sentiment from the news of us starting to build out throughout Savannah? I know you said there was a burst of applause in Tybee, but from the rest of Savannah, have you heard from people you talk to a pretty positive sentiment and excitement?
Same. I haven't been at a meeting where this has happened, but very similar sentiment out on Skidaway, which is a huge residential development called the Landings. Very wealthy retirees mostly. There's some younger families out there, but a lot of folks that have retired and moved down from the Midwest and the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, sort of those type areas. There's a Kiwanis Club out there that I go and speak to once every sort of 6 months or so. Great group, incredibly active in the community. They've given away a couple $1 million to community groups since they started this community fund that they do out there. More than $100,000 each year, and this is just a neighborhood Kiwanis Club. It's incredible, but those folks out there are so excited to have Live Oak out there as an option, and again, just an underserved market. They're kind of disconnected from the rest of the world, and somebody came and gave them a little love, right? And they love it. And then I know some of the parts of town inside the city. There's been a great response from particularly a couple of the aldermen and folks y'all are working with in those districts as well. So, look, man, it's a lifeline, right? I mean, it's just as important as electricity and running water these days, right? And so, when you guys are able to come in and increase the level of service, in some cases at a cheaper price, what's not to love, right? And so, your question is an absolute 100%, very positive. Reaction, because it's just another choice. Nobody's forced to sign up, but they've got this great new option now, and who wouldn't love it, right? If they give me an option to choose, I'll take that all day. Whether I take the option or not, just having the choices is better than I was before. So again, you guys have you've done it the right way. You've come in and been involved in the community, and people respect that and like it. And as the young kids would say, have no notes on the way y'all got.
That's good. I've been to the other press conferences. It's not always that way sometimes. That's good. It's acceptable. We have.
You're doing great. And the team you have down here, by the way, is awesome as well. Enjoyed getting to know them, and you guys spent a lot of time here, both from your leadership and then the team that's here on the coast as well. And so again, kudos all the way around.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thomas Allen, our director of marketing, came on last summer, and he's been Garret knows he's been fantastic. I know he spends a lot of time.
I got to brag on Thomas for a second. We went to dinner probably a month or so ago, and he introduced me to a new restaurant that I had not been to. It was fantastic. Yeah, so, I give him all the credit. When I see people, I ask them if they've tried this new restaurant, and I give Thomas all the credit. You think the chamber guy would have tried them all, but this was a new one for me. He's got great taste in dinner.
He does have great taste in dinner. He's particular. I've drug him out to a lot of places that I'm sure are below his palate, but he goes along well with it, which is good. He goes along well. He'll sometimes.
Thomas is an awesome guy.
He'll sometimes send me that gift, Mikey. Remember the old Life cereal commercial? Thomas is like, you think I'm Mikey, right? Like, you got to eat. Thomas will like it, but you're like you said, he's already found the good places, which is awesome. I think that's part of our interview process. You got to really like food.
For sure. Now we're talking. Preferred qualification there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. After fiber optic internet, your second passion has to be going out to dinner somewhere with the team.
Well, you got to absolutely. We're not going to apologize.
We love to participate and benefit from that passion of yours. So.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, I wanted to ask real quick, the Club Car Championship is coming up here in a few weeks. Are you guys excited for that? We'll be out there. I know it's probably a big economic uptick for you guys for the week that it goes on, or 2 weeks.
Yeah, it really is. And if you, for anybody that's watching this, that's not or listening to this, that's not in the area, it's on Golf Channel, and it's the week before the Masters. And so we do a big sponsorship with them to make sure that tournament is broadcast, to the entire country as they're starting to think about golf. Right, they're starting to get in the mood. Now we've been in the mood because I'd never stop playing. Right, I don't take off for the winter, But for those that are in other parts of the country that may not get to play much during the winter, it's really the start of the golf season is the Masters, and then this Club Car Championship the week before. And so we make sure that that's broadcast to the country on Golf Channel. We've got some local folks that participate. They did a sponsor's invite this year to a kid named Hughes Threckhold, who plays up at North Georgia College. Nice. He's a great kid, great family. Awesome. He's going to play on Thursday, Friday, his first pro tournament ever, and he might have the biggest gallery of anybody out there. So that's going to be a ton of fun. You guys have heavily invested in that tournament as well and shown your support. Our areas on the 18th green are right next to each other, so we get to see you guys up there as we have members and prospects up there. You guys are hanging out right there with us, and so it's a fun event. You can get really close to the players and really see how good they are. Golf is, and I love it. This is my favorite thing to do. There are a lot of great golfers in this world, and the PGA Tour guys are great, but these Korn Ferry guys are right there, and really you almost can't tell the difference when you see them in person when they hit the ball, whether they're a PGA Tour player or one step below these Korn Ferry players. And so Club Car's a great partner. They're up in Augusta. They sell a lot of golf carts
they do.
Here in Savannah and all over, particularly in retirement communities and those kind of things. So great partner, and we're just thrilled for that week, really to show the country this great weather that we have here and sort of the great amenities that come along with coming down here. And so thank you all for your investment in that. We're glad to be a big partner in that, and we'll see you guys out there because I know y'all are going to be hosting folks and participating.
We'll absolutely be out there, and I think you have so the Pro-Am I think is on the 3rd, I want to say. I think
Wednesday.
The Chamber, the Chamber has you guys have an event I think out on the 18th hole, I believe, right?
That's right. Okay. Yeah, we got a Pro-Ams during the day, and then that afternoon we've got an event out there where folks can come and network and see the course and probably see some amateurs coming in and embarrassing themselves on the 18th hole. So it should be a good time. We'll heckle the folks that are coming in, and it'll be. We've done that every year, for a number of years. And again, just
I didn't know we
love
could
everything
heckle.
about it.
That's a part of it. We can heckle.
Oh, sure.
Just
the Pro-Am.
Up months ago, if that was an option. Okay.
Hey, tell you what, you could. If you want to see some bad golf, wait for me to show up on the 17 and 18. Oh
there
man, you'll see it.
Yeah, we're going to relentlessly heckle you. Not during the tournament, just during the Pro-Am. I want to make that clear to everybody.
Yeah.
Paying attention here,
that's right.
We don't want to repeat of what happened to the Players this week with Rory, taking the guy's phone after he got yelled at. So no repeat of that in Savannah. But we'll absolutely heckle the Ams that are coming in. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a great tournament last year. It was actually kind of cool for us as we saw. I think his name was Stephen Fisk. He won last year.
Yeah.
We were a sponsor for the RSM Classic on St. Simons, and he was playing in that tournament. So it was nice to kind of come full circle and see him, in the next level and finally part of the PGA Tour.
I can give you a quick background on Stephen, by the way. Stephen grew up in the town that we lived in just south of Atlanta before we moved down here. Stephen played at the course that I played at up there. We saw him grow up and was really always an exceptional player, and then went to Georgia Southern, had an incredible career at Georgia Southern, and so he really is a hometown favorite. I picked him in the Pro-Am to play with him because we, of course, had that connection back to McDonough and his hometown. His parents owned a little driving range and kind of par 3 course that was there right next to Interstate 75 right there in McDonough. And so it was incredible to see him, come through and win, having the Georgia Southern connection, and of course for me having the McDonough connection with them. And to your point, now seeing him on the PGA Tour and playing, and
that's awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And we've had Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns and all these great pros that have come through and played the Korn Ferry. And so it's a great reminder for everybody. These are the next stars, right? These are the guys that you're going to see over the next 5 or 10 years go to the PGA Tour, and you get to see them, up close and personal before they make it. And it's a really neat thing to do. And Stephen's win last year was very, very popular amongst the Georgia Southern fans, and of course from me with our McDonough connection. So glad you guys got to see it this year, and this year it'll be somebody new on their way to the PGA Tour. It'll be somebody else that captures that that trophy this year.
Absolutely.
It is.
Now, does Steven get an invite
course.
just because he won it last year?
Well, my guess is he's probably going to be playing in the PGA Tour. They would welcome him back, of course, absolutely. But he's, when you get a chance to play on the big tour, you probably take every chance you get. So I'm sure he's always welcome back. But my guess is he's going to be playing with the big boys and seeing what kind of dent he can make up there. And again, being the week before the Masters, in a lot of cases, if you win that week, you might get a special invite to the Masters, which could change your career. So those guys tend to play that week before, the ones that aren't already qualified for the Masters. So he's welcome back, but my guess is we're not going to see him back.
My guess is not either. Well, Bert, thanks for your time today, and thanks for taking the time to meet with us and talk about the chamber. And we're looking forward to hanging out with you guys at the club car and really like being a good citizen of Savannah, the greater Savannah area. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, see, Garret, again, thank you guys so much for what you're doing here. And you've chosen to invest in our community. We don't take that lightly. We know that's a big decision for y'all. And the fact, again, that you've come in and really become a great partner straight from the jump just really speaks a lot to the culture that you guys have built and the kind of company and service provider that you're offering to your customers. And so we're just thrilled to have you here. Look forward to seeing you guys, and we're always a call away. We're going to help every way we can as you guys bring great service, but also great community involvement to Savannah.
Appreciate it.
Bert, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Crispy scored flounder in the near future with you, Bert. So.
I'm going to save and not have that until you get down. So I'll.
Fair enough.
I'm going to wait till then. We can have that together.
That sounds like a plan. Thanks again, Bert.
Thank you for tuning into The Fiber. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe. If you want to learn more about LiveOak Fiber, visit us at liveoakfiber.com.